Autism. It's been around for a very long time. And yet, it is the most talked about since in TV shows and movies. But there have been a long list of celebrities that have had it. But none were compared to the legendary Albert Einstein, a scientist and one of the best of all time. But yet, autism has been mentioned on occasions when it comes down to a film by the name of Rain Man. Hey there everyone, Cool 412 the Fox here. Now, after last time I did a history video, it was the history of anime and where it all started. Now, basically, I thought it'd be fitting to talk about the history of autism, on where it all began and where did it come from. Now, growing up, it's been very tough on me at times. And yet, ever since I was a kid, I have been diagnosed with autism ever since. And people say it's a curse, but to me, it's a blessing. Because it's been a blessing not just to me personally, but to everyone I know. Because the thing is, one time I was told by someone in my family that Dan Aykroyd is autistic. But yet, his creativity, I believe, has really sparked a generation of films that he's ever created, like the Ghostbusters, including Ghostbusters 2. And then, decades later, we got Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then the one movie I saw late last year, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And man, I'm already stunned out of my mind knowing how far that I didn't know about autism. But it's been a wild ride for me, but I've been very blessed. And I know everyone is too. Because the thing is, you just never know what to expect these days. And how much amazing creativity can be. But yet, you just never know down the road. Now then, since we're talking about the history of autism, let's take you back, very way back, on where it all started. The understanding of autism has evolved significantly over centuries, from a poorly understood condition to being recognized as a lifelong neurodevelopment spectrum. Its history is marked by early ancient delta observation, formerly identification, in the mid-20th century, decades of harmful misinformation, and a modern shift towards embracing neurodiversity. Before the 20th century, individuals who would now be recognized as autistic were generally misunderstood. Historically, records describe individuals with traits consistent with autism, such as the 18th century wild boy of Averny, sorry if I have mispronounced that, but anyways, or the 18th century Scottish nobleman Hugh Balor, who was known for being socially withdrawn in ancient civilization. Such behaviors were often attributed to spectral, magical, or incantation qualities. Sorry, once again, I have a bit of reading issues, so anyways, it's not about me here, so anyways. Since the concept of a neurodevelopment disorder did not exist, there was no specific diagnosis. How people with autism-like traits were treated depended entirely on family, wealth, and social standing. Those with higher support needs forced the risk of neglect, or in translation. In 1911, Swiss psychiatrist Eugene Balor first used the term autism, from the Greek word autos, for self, to describe a symptom of schizophrenia involving self-observation and withdrawal from reality. This connection led to decades of misdiagnosis. In 1920, Soviet psychiatrist Grigoriy Sokovsky, sorry, once again, I'm not good at pronouncing names, but anyways, published descriptions of children with social difficulties repetitive behaviors and restricted interests. Her work was not widely known outside of Russia, but responses a empirical early clinic study of autistic traits. 1940. The 1940s were a turning point of autism, with two groundbreaking studies defining the disorder through harmful theories soon followed. 1943. American psychiatrist Leo Kanner described 11 children with early infinitely autism who displayed extreme aloneness, delayed speech, and an obsession insists on assumptions. His paper was the first to recognize autism as a disconnect condition separated from schizophrenia. 1944. Separately in Austria, Hans Asperg described children with social and communication challenges but average to high intelligence. His work, which was not widely recognized until the 1980s, laid the foundation for what was later called Asperger's syndrome. From 1950s to 1960s, driven by psychologist theories, psychologist Bruno Barthelemy promoted the harmful idea that autism was caused by emotional cold mothers. This deeply damaging and now debunked theory led to parents being unfairly blamed for their children's condition. The late 20th century, the bulking medical understanding of autism replaced described psychology theories and led to changes in diagnosis and treatment. 1964, psychologist Bruno Remland, a parent of an autistic child, published a book arguing that autism had a biologically not psychology caused this, provided crucial evidence to debunk the refrigerant mother theory. 1980, the American Psychiatrist Association formally recognized infinitely autism as its own diagnosis in the Diagnosis and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM for short. This milestone officially separated it from childhood schizophrenia. 1987, the DSM-3 Barton, the diagnostic creditor, acknowledging the spectrum nature of the condition. 1994, with Hans Asperger's work finally translated into English in 1991, the DSM-4 included Asperger's syndrome as a diagnosis, further solidifying autism as a spectrum condition. 21st century. This period is defined by shifting attitudes toward autism influenced by the narrativity movement. 1998, autistic psychology Judy Singer coined the term neurodiversity, which views condition like autism as natural variants of the human brain rather than a pathological to be cured. In the mid-2000s, the autism rights and self-advocate movements gained premonition, pushing back against negative stereotypes and emphasizing the value of autistic experiences. They advocated for inclusion and acceptance. 2013, the latest edition of the DSM Unfitted Asperger's Syndrome, Childhood Negative Disorder, and other diagnoses under the single umbrella term Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD for short, to reflect the full range of abilities and challenges. To today, contemplating understanding views autism as a lifelong condition with early diagnosis and appropriate support. Many autistic individuals live fulfilling and independent lives. Research and increasingly highlights and the genetic complex of autism and databases contain regarding diagnosis carefully and how best to support individuals on the spectrum. And man, even myself, I have been diagnosed with autism. It's just that my condition has been through so much ever since I was a little kid. And that was until some people in my family said, "You're diagnosed with autism." And now and then these days, it was pretty tough on me, as I mentioned earlier. Ever since I have been diagnosed with autism, since I was between the ages of 3 to 4 years old, I didn't know what to expect for myself. There has been so much I've learned along the way, and that I'm not the only one who has it. And there are so many lives I've changed over the years of people I know and people I care about, like friends and family, and more importantly, the people I look up to. They've really inspired me to do so much, and they've always put a warm smile on my face. And there's one thing I want to give advice to people out there that have autism, or in this case, the spectrum. My advice to people is, don't think of this as a curse. Think of it as a blessing. You can achieve anything as long as you put your mind to it, and as long as you work hard at it. You know you'll get there someday. And no matter what, you have what it takes. If I know you can do it, so can I. Because I believe that everyone deserves not just a chance at what they believe in and what they're passionate about, but the creativity is where it's at. Because I know there's so much heart out there for anyone that has a heart on their sleeves with so much amazing creativity. And I want to take that straight from the bottom of my heart and thank you all so much for your amazing support. And more importantly though, folks, don't give up on how hard you worked and how much passion you have, no matter what. Sure, there's going to be disrespectful people out there, and some people disrespecting you because you have autism or any other diagnosis, which is known as the spectrum. But the thing is, don't let people disrespect you. They're nothing more but a couple of trolls and cyberbullies, because I know how it is these days. But don't let people disrespect you for who you are. Because as someone in my family said, you're living the dream, and you're doing things that no one has ever done before. And most of all, don't ever give up on how hard, how far you come. And I know there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this edition on history. So I wanna thank you all so much for tuning into this video. And if you guys wanna see more content like this on any more history types of ideas, please leave a like and support this channel. And be sure to subscribe to this channel, turn on post notifications so you guys do not miss amazing history content like this. Because I'm just so shocked to see how far this channel has come and gone. And I want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for the past amazing 11 years. And that really means a lot right now. But more importantly though, folks, all I want to say is from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you all so much for your amazing support for the past 11 years. And have a great day, everyone.